Welcome to the DCTV News at Noon program. I'm Kelsey Kiesling.
And I'm Kendra Cook. The Dolores County Broadcasting Network is the producer of DCTV with support from our friends at the Southwest TV Translator Association.
If you have a news topic or event you'd like to see covered, give us a call. The studio number is 677-4119.
Today's show runs Tuesday at noon, 3 and 6 p.m. and again is re-aired later throughout the weekend with the other weekday broadcast replays. Today is May 15th, 2018. And now, the news at noon.
According to the Cortez Journal, 3 northern Arizona residents are going to prison for their roles in a criminal street gang that authorities say is responsible for at least 3 murders on the Navajo Nation: drug trafficking, kidnapping, aggravated assaults, and witness intimidation. The Redskin Kings, founded in 2003 in Lukachukai near the Arizona-New Mexico border, sought to install fear in tribal communities, using social media to raise its profile and recruit new members, federal prosecutors said. Members bought methamphetamine and cocaine from towns that border the reservation and operated a drug business from a gang member's home, where she also sold steamed corn, according to court records. 3 of them were sentenced this week in U.S. District Court in Phoenix, including the gang's leader, Devin Leonard, age 28. All pleaded guilty to a single count of conspiracy to participate in racketeering. The supervisor of criminal investigations on the Navajo Nation did not immediately return a message-seeking comment Thursday. Leonard received the lengthiest sentence of 50 years behind bars. He and fellow gang member Randall Begay fatally shot 2 men in Lukachukai in December 2014, one in the face after the men pleaded with them not to shoot him a second time, court records show. Leonard and Begay then burned the bodies of the victims, who aren't named in court documents, and left the remains in a shallow hole. Begay is scheduled to be sentenced later this year.
From the Journal, courtesy photo, the Southwest Regional Law Enforcement Academy at Pueblo Community College graduated 15 cadets on Saturday, May 12th, according to Shannon Livick, assistant to the executive dean at PCC Southwest. Some of the cadets already had jobs and graduated wearing the uniforms of La Plata County Sheriff's Office, Durango Police Department, Cortez Police Department, Montezuma County Sheriff's Office, Dolores County Sheriff's Office, Archuleta County Sheriff's Office, and Pagosa Springs Police Department. The graduates are Braden Banks, Kristen Cannon, Randall Clark, Tim Collins, Vance Davis, Shane Fletcher, Mitchell Guffey, Justin Gilliams, Ryan Hartbauer, Zachary Lewitt, Ryan Liska, Stefan Lobato, Matthew Perkett, Shayla Marie Wakefield, and Justin Wynn. There are 2 new officers within the Dolores County Sheriff's Office who will be starting their ride-alongs this month and will help ease the burden of the office having 1 sheriff and just 3 deputies. This year, Sheriff Martin is retiring after 28 years with the Dolores County Sheriff's Office. Under Sheriff Deputy Tim Rowell and Deputy David Harrison are running for the office of the Republican ticket in the June 26 primary, where the winner of that vote will go up against Deputy Don Leslie Wilson later on this fall.
According to the Cortez Journal, with a photo from the Aurora Sentinel. In a country in the midst of sustained economic growth, Colorado has been ahead of the pack. Month after month of an expanding economy has resulted in some pretty good times for business owners across the Centennial State. The state's economy was recently ranked as the best in the nation by U.S. News and World Report, in large part to an expanding economic sector that has seen its gross domestic product grow at a 1.8% clip from 2006 to 2016, above the national average of 1.2% during that period. But even the sunniest news isn't without its share of clouds. That expanding economy means businesses are looking for more and more employees to meet demand. With the state's unemployment rate at 3%, more than a point lower than the national average, and 10th overall lowest, employers are faced with a dilemma. How do they staff to keep up with expansion when there's no one to take the job? A nearly non-existent unemployment rate might seem like the ultimate goal for an economy, but a vast majority of economists believe it's important for an economy to have a pool of unemployed workers. When economies have rock-bottom unemployment, it restrains the ability of businesses to expand, which in turn puts the brakes on economic growth. While staffing is an issue for a vast majority of businesses, Three sectors in particular are feeling the crunch of low employment numbers: construction, food and beverage, and the healthcare industry. The building industry has expanded its employee roles by 6.7% over the past year, one of the fastest growing sectors in the state, with demand sky high for skilled labor. The restaurant business makes up 12% of the state's labor force, and sales have expanded since 2010 by 38%. And the healthcare sector is facing a major cliff as its workforce gets older and older. As more and more nurses retire, there aren't enough new ones to staff the huge demand that is waiting out on the horizon as baby boomers start to retire.
From the Durango Herald, photo Patrick Armijo. Democratic candidate for Governor Kerry Kennedy called for making education the state's top priority and offering a public health care option for Colorado during a visit to Durango that included a meeting with teachers and a fundraising event at the Doubletree Hotel. Quote, "We have to make education our #1 priority. We have to raise teacher pay and education funding in this state," Kennedy told a crowd of 20, mostly educators, who gathered Monday afternoon at Animas Brewing Company. Education in Colorado has been underfunded for 30 years, she said, and identified the Taxpayers' Bill of Rights as the culprit. Make no mistake, Tabor is the reason why we have the top-rated economy of any state in the country and among the lowest funding for education, Kennedy said. She promised to lead a bipartisan effort to reform the amendment to the Colorado Constitution that sets strict limits for state taxing and spending and requires a vote of the people to pass any tax increase for state and local governments. Kennedy said she wanted to reform the taxing and spending limits of Tabor to allow the government to keep more tax revenue as the economy grows, but she said she wanted to keep intact the Tabor requirement that voters approve all tax increases. In March, Kennedy received 11,583 votes in precinct caucuses statewide, and she noted she earned 3 times the vote of her next nearest competitor in the La Plata County precinct caucuses. Stephanie Mount Pleasant, president of the Durango Education Association, said Kennedy has received the endorsement of the DEA as well as the Colorado Education Association. State Representative Barbara McLaughlin, Democrat from Durango, said she doesn't endorse candidates in the primary, but she was impressed by Kennedy's time as state treasurer during the Great Recession, when Colorado avoided losing money in financial investments, unlike many states that had placed their tax funds in more risky investments. After visiting Animas Brewing Company, Kennedy moved to a fundraiser at the Doubletree Hotel, where she spoke to almost 100 people. She said she wanted an affordable and accessible public health care option in Colorado. In Colorado, she said 94% of people have health insurance, but for many families it's increasingly unaffordable, with many families paying $2,000 to $3,000 a month for their health plans. She called climate change the most pressing issue Colorado faces and vowed as governor to double the state's requirement for renewable energy generation, and she said she would work to adopt the standards of the Paris Climate Agreement, even if the Trump administration does not cooperate. The Democratic primary in Colorado is June 26. Other candidates running on the Democratic ticket include Lieutenant Governor Donna Lynn and former state Senator Michael Johnston.
According to the Durango Herald, nearly half of U.S. cancer doctors who responded to a survey say they've recently recommended medical marijuana to patients, although most say they don't know enough about medicinal use. The results reflect how marijuana policy in some states has outpaced research, the study authors said. All 29 states with medical marijuana programs allow doctors to recommend it to cancer patients, but no rigorous studies in cancer patients exist. That leaves doctors to make assumptions from other research on similar prescription drugs or in other types of patients. Patients want to know what their doctors think about using marijuana. In the new study, cancer doctors said their conversations about marijuana were almost always started by patients and their families, not by the doctors themselves. Overall, nearly 8 in 10 cancer doctors reported having discussed marijuana with their patients or their families, with 46% recommending it for pain and other cancer-related problems to at least one patient in the past year. Among those who said they recommended marijuana, 56% said they did not have sufficient knowledge to do so. The survey was conducted in a random sample of cancer doctors. Researchers got completed surveys from 237 doctors, or 63%. And now, let's take a look at the weather.
Taking a look at our national weather map from NOAA, the rains and storms continue over most of the Pacific Northwest, down into northern California and across Idaho, while a high pressure clears out the upper central state and Dakotas. Meanwhile, that high pressure over the southwest continues to dry things out behind the low pressure system, still causing rains and thunderstorms all the way from Texas through the Central Plains, across most of the southeast, and all the way back up to Michigan and on up through the coastline to Maine. The heavy rains that may be severe and causing flooding conditions have moved northeast now, shown over parts of Ohio, West Virginia, PA, and New York. Regionally, isolated weak thunderstorms are expected later this afternoon and evening over the mountains of northeast Utah and northwestern Colorado north of Interstate 70. Isolated afternoon and evening thunderstorms are possible each afternoon and evening through Thursday, mainly north of Interstate 70. Increasing winds and continued dry conditions may raise fire weather concerns Thursday afternoon. The chance of afternoon and evening thunderstorms will increase Friday through next Monday as two Pacific storms affect much of the western United States. And the DCTV 5-day forecast shows today sunny with a high near 71, south-southwest winds 15 miles an hour. Tonight clear with a low around 45, southwest winds 5 to 10, becoming east-southeast after midnight. Wednesday sunny with a high near 77 degrees, southeast winds 5 to 15 miles an hour, becoming south-southwest in the afternoon. Wednesday night clear with a low around 45 degrees, south-southwest winds 5 to 15 miles an hour, becoming southeast after midnight. Then Thursday sunny with a high near 76 degrees, south-southwest winds 10 to 15 miles an hour with gusts as high as 25. Thursday night mostly clear with a low around 44. Friday sunny with a high near 73. Friday night mostly clear with a low around 42. Saturday sunny with a high near 74. Saturday night partly cloudy with a low around 45. And Sunday mostly sunny again with a high near 76 degrees. Sunday night partly cloudy with a low around 48. And now back to the news.
According to the Durango Herald, Tim Wheeler defeated Karen Barger for the District 4 seat on the La Plata Electric Association Board of Directors by 17 votes. The results were announced Monday after a recount process that took almost 3 hours. The numbers matched those tabulated on Saturday at the LPEA annual meeting, but because the margin in District 4, Northern and Eastern La Plata County, was less than 1%, LPEA's bylaws required the recount. Wheeler received 1,123 votes to Barger's 1,106 votes. La Plata County Clerk and Recorder Tiffany Parker administered the recount in the clerk's office. She supervised a team of 7 election judges. The recount was observed by the 4 volunteer members of LPEA's Election Supervisory Committee, as well as members of the community, including the 2 candidates. 1 seat in LPEA's 4 districts come up for election annually. This year, incumbents Kohler McInnes and Britt Bassett retained their seats for additional 3-year terms, representing Districts 2 and 3 respectively. Wheeler will join new director Kirsten Skihan, who was elected to represent District 1.
From the Journal, photo credit Emily Rice. Starting next week, the Canyons of the Ancients Visitor Center and Museum will feature artwork by students from Southwest Open School. An exhibit opening will be May 29th at 1 p.m., and the show will run until June 12th. Students created artwork inspired by local archaeological sites, documents, and artifacts. Our local museum staff worked with these talented students to formulate and install an exhibit, said Marietta Eaton, Museum and Monument Manager. We are proud of our unique partnership with the Southwest Open School and look forward to sharing their creations with the public when the exhibit opens. The students also connected with BLM staff to learn about the importance of cultural resource management, as well as ancestral Puebloan culture, including architecture, technology, and art through the school's local alternative education campus, Charter High School. We appreciate the BLM's willingness to help our students explore art and archaeology, said Ed Rutner, Southwest Open School teacher. It's our mission to create a community of learners who utilize expeditionary experimental education. The public can view the exhibit from May 29th to June 12th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the museum. That's west of Dolores at 27501 Colorado Highway 184. Admission to the museum is $3 per person. Children under 18 and America the Beautiful Public Lands Pass holders enter the museum for free. To learn more, contact Ed Rutner at 970-565-1150.
Reported by the Cortez Journal, photo courtesy of Community Connections. Morehart Murphy Subaru presented Community Connections Incorporated with $15,000 on April 12th from donations that were collected during the automobile manufacturer's 10th annual Share the Love benefit. The Share the Love event, which lasts about 2.5 months every year by Subaru of America, donates $250 of each new vehicle purchased or leased by customers to one of 4 national charities or an approved local organization. Donations this year were collected from November 16th to January 2nd. Subaru leaves it up to the customer to choose which organization, local or national, will receive the $250 donation. Some opt to have the money donated to one of the 4 national charities, which include the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, Make-A-Wish, Meals on Wheels, America, and the National Park Foundation. However, when it's time to decide where the money will go, the sales team at the Morehart Murphy Subaru dealership in Bodo Industrial Park advocates that customers donate locally so that funds end up in the hands of community connections. We try to encourage people to keep the donations local so the money stays in the community instead of having it go somewhere else, said Jonathan Griego, a sales associate at the dealership. I would say that about 95% of the donations were local this year, he said. Community Connections, which provides support and resources for children and adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities, has benefited from the donation effort for the last 5 years. In past years, Share the Love has supplied between $8,000 to $10,000 to Community Connections. The amount this year was one of the largest donations the organization has ever seen. In addition to the 4 national charities, more than 660 local organizations participated in this year's Share the Love event. Tara Kane, Community Connection CEO, expressed her gratitude for the donation to Jim Morehart, staff at the dealership, and Subaru of America.
Colorado Public Lands Day will celebrate outdoor spaces, as reported on in the Durango Herald. Photo Jerry McBride. Multiple events are scheduled for the 2nd annual Colorado Public Lands Day to be held this Saturday, May 19th. The goal of the events are to give back to the environment and promote public lands for all to use. Colorado is the first state in the nation to have a state public lands day. In 2016, the state legislature passed a bipartisan bill, which the governor signed, creating a public lands day, said Lisa Poole with Conservation Colorado, an environmental advocacy group. Public lands are important to celebrate because many Coloradans identify with the open spaces, she said. Public lands make up to 23 million acres of land in Colorado. In addition, the outdoor recreation industry brings $34 billion to the state. The holiday provides an occasion to give back and unite to protect public lands, Poole said. The goal of the events are to continue growing the holiday, as well as attract people to be involved with public lands who are not the usual suspects of environmental groups. A way to do this is to reach out to organizations from all walks of life, she said. 6 events plus a party are scheduled by various organizations this weekend, including hikes, land cleanups, and an art session in our area. In Durango's backyard are 2 swaths of public land, the Weminuche Wilderness at 499,771 acres and the San Juan National Forest at 1.8 million acres. The most recent bid to protect land in the area is the San Juan Mountains Wilderness Act, introduced in April by U.S. Senator Michael Bennet, which would protect about 61,000 acres of land in the San Juan Mountains. For more information, go online to copubliclandsday.com, and maybe next year viewers in Dolores County can coordinate to submit an event here as well.
And now for the Dolores County Sheriff's Roundup for the week of May 7th through the 13th. A county resident reported llamas and pigs on her property. Sheriff's deputy performed fingerprints at the sheriff's office. Sheriff's office received a call for a patient to be transported to the hospital by our local ambulance service. That concludes today's roundup. Stay tuned for continued updates.
Today's High Canyon Country happenings. Friday, May 18th, National Award-winning Hurricane Jake and his one-man band will be bringing down the house, or hopefully not, at the State Line Bar and Grill from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. This is a show you do not want to miss. And Saturday, May 19th, join Midge Kirk and Terry Helm as they bring strong local women of the past to life in this intimate performance at the Cortez Cultural Center, which is located at 25 North Market Street in Cortez. The show, called Her Story, begins at 7 p.m. and runs till 9. Seating is general admission. Beverages will be available for purchase. And join the Mount Lookout Grange for the 4th annual Mancus Bloom fundraiser Sunday, May 20th from 3 to 7 p.m. Generously and deliciously supported by Stubborn Farm and Burke Beef, Berto Farm, Kestrel Farm, Mountain Pasture Meats, Mancus Brewing Company, Dolores River Brewery, Fenceline Cider, Mancus Food Share, and more. This event is open to the whole family. No door charge, just pay per item. Live music is from the String Theory and Kevin Frazier and Hurricane Jake. Yard games, arts and crafts, and a Maypole celebration dance will also be held. For questions, call them at 719-440 1890. And all of these happenings are posted on our DCTV News at Noon Facebook page, along with the YouTube replays, weather, and original stories and local posts. To share your event or information, contact us by email dcbnnews@gmail.com or call the station 970-677-4119, and we'll be sure to get your news on air.
Thanks for tuning in. News at Noon airs at noon Monday through Thursday and then is rebroadcast at 3 and 6 p.m. on each of those days. The weekday news shows are then replayed throughout the weekend as well.
And be sure to check us out on social media. Our Facebook page is DCTV News at Noon. Please like us there and share it with a friend.
For Kendra Cook with DCTV and the News at Noon program out of Dove Creek, USA, I'm Kelsey Kiesling. Thanks for watching.